Hey, good evening, everybody. Lawrence Michael from Air Quality Remediation, doing our update to our series in the apartment complex remediation and restoration project. It's about 6:30 on a Friday evening at this point. So I'm going to try to be as quick as I possibly can because I still have to get back to the office and do a bunch of other stuff before I can leave for the day. So the stuff I do for the company. So anyway, we're finishing up our second building here, doing our final walkthrough, touching up a couple things. I've already sent the guys home, so here's our video just showing what all was going on. And then on Monday, we'll make our walkthrough video on building 3, just to continue on our series. So as always, we start in the same spot, our containment door. As always, we have our staples, so our caution tape, our warning signs for authorized personnel only, and then, as always, our newly set up plexiglass system so that people can look inside without actually entering inside the containment. Again, all in an effort to eliminate cross-contamination. Those of you that saw our before remediation and restoration video, you can compare that one to this one and see how big of a difference this basement is. The guys did a real good job in here. I was real impressed with them. As always, our guys are top notch. If you remember, this cover for this sump pump was, it was nasty. It was full of mold. It was real bad. So the guys cleaned this up real nice. All the block walls in here that had the effervescence on it have all been grinded, HEPA vacuumed, sanitized with an antimicrobial solution, and then encapsulated with this sealer. And it looks 100 times better. And this will prevent any effervescence from coming in the future. It'll prevent mold from growing in the future. And we'll see that as we go throughout the basement. Dehumidifier has been decontaminated. For those of you that watched the last video and you remember, this dehumidifier was pretty grimy, pretty nasty in this basement. So we went through, deconned everything, HEPA vacuum, sanitized all the interior and exterior surfaces. So the filter looks a lot better, filter cover. And this dehumidifier is still running good. There's 2 dehumidifiers in each one of these apartment complex basements. The second dehumidifier is back at our shop, still waiting on it's called a defrost sensor. With these dehumidifiers, if there's ever an issue, it'll throw an error code that'll keep the dehumidifier from running as a protective measure so that it can't beat itself to death. But anyway, it had an error code, so we figured out what the error code was for. It was for that defrost sensor, so I ordered the sensor, and once it comes in, I'll be able to replace the sensor and bring that dehumidifier back, so we'll be able to have 2 dehumidifiers in this space again. These block walls look much better. Very uniform. As I said, the guys did a really good job. This is our paint sprayer that we use to apply the encapsulant. Foster 4020 is the encapsulant that we use. That's the standard for the IICRC mold remediation guidelines. More block walls that have all been treated. As always, our HEPA air scrubber. And you'll see farther into this basement, we do have a second one. Again, because the square footage in this area is so great, we have to run 2 to maintain that air filtration level that we want, those CFMs, which is cubic feet per minute. It measures how much air it's pumping through per minute. All the surfaces have been decontaminated, so all HEPA vacuumed and sanitized. The block walls, as always, have are encapsulated, but even the surfaces that aren't block walls, so doors, these wood frames, the grids, the floor, the ceiling, everything gets HEPA vacuumed and sanitized. More block walls that have been treated. This basement here, comparative to the first basement that we did, the first basement had more mold issues than effervescence issues on the block walls, whereas to contrast, this second building has more effervescence issues than mold issues. So it's a good way to show, the different objectives that we have to deal with and then how we address those different objectives. Second HEPA air scrubber. More block walls that have been treated. I know this is probably boring for you guys just kind of going through, but I think it does hold value, showing you before and after videos of the project. Up here was one area that there was mold growth around this PVC pipe, if you guys remember. So all this surface around the PVC pipe was HEPA vacuumed, sanitized with an antimicrobial solution, and then encapsulated with that Foster 4020 sealer. So that'll prevent new mold from coming back. And again, I don't want to bore you, that's why I'm going kind of quick, but I think it does hold value. So here is one wall that we can't get to because it's locked, because there's a tenant that has their personal belongings in there. But this is what the block walls look like before. That's where the effervescence have, broken down this block wall, and you can see all the staining and all the bubbling and chipping away. That's how it looks before we get to it. And the drastic comparison here is what it looks like after we get to it. And this can be done in your residential or commercial basement as well. It doesn't have to be just in apartment complexes. This happens on concrete block walls all over. It's kind of a byproduct of grading outside the house or the building that's not exactly correct. So the rainwater that's falling down doesn't shed away from the house the way it's supposed to. So all that rainwater sits next to the foundation, and then eventually concrete can only hold so much water, and eventually the water starts to come in and then starts to affect that concrete block wall. It can be the grading outside that's not correct, that doesn't have the right slope. It could be, I've seen gutters that have been clogged. So instead of rainwater going down the gutters, traveling down the downspout as it's supposed to, and then running away from the house, if the gutters are clogged, it just overflows the side of the gutter, and then that rainwater again sits next to the foundation, causing the water to eventually come in. This was the second area that there was mold growth above this PVC pipe and behind this PVC pipe. And as you can see, we see no more mold growth here. All the surfaces were encapsulated with that Foster 4020. Like I said, the guys did a real good job. And like I said, every surface from top to bottom, from the ceiling to the walls to the floor, gets all HEPA vacuumed. HEPA, again, high efficiency particle air vacuum. Gets 99.97% of the particles out of the air or off of a surface down to 0.3 microns, which is about 7 times smaller than the hair follicle on your arm. And then all the surfaces get sanitized with an antimicrobial solution. In this case, we use Sporecidin, which is right here, which is also an EPA's approved disinfectant. So it is a long process that we have to go through before we can warranty, yes, our work is complete, yes, the mold is gone, yes, the effervescence has been treated and taken care of. So it is a long process, but it makes everybody healthier, happier, and safer. So if you guys have any questions, if you need any help with any indoor air quality concerns at your home or your commercial property, definitely give us a call. Look us up on our social media platforms. Check us out on our website. You can always message me, call us anytime. I'm on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So until next time, I'll make another video on Monday for starting building number 3. And I appreciate your time. Be safe, have a good weekend, and I'll see you on the next video.